Welcome to Holding Space. Michael Zen is a visual producer and creative photographer using his imaginative visionary energy to channel Zen and hold space for spiritual and innovative discussion. Each episode creates a supportive, accepting, and open environment that allows exploration and expertise to come together with engaging and entertaining convergence. With guest and community all helping the shape of the way, Michael is grateful to be together to hold space. Now here is your host of Holding Space, Michael Zen.
Yes, it's me. Oh, it's only half of me. I don't know why that's happening, but let me fill up the screen. Welcome to Holding Space. That's me. That's this, right? See, I'm holding space. I don't know if you guys get it, so I have to explain it. No, maybe I didn't have to explain it. But welcome to Holding Space. That means it's Tuesday here on the Sacred Spiral Network, one of my favorite places to be, especially on a Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's one of my favorite places to be because I'm the host. And this is my place to hold space for an amazing guest, to hold space for an amazing audience, to hold space for myself. And just be in the moment, and I love it. So thank you guys for coming. I see some people in the comments filling up the front row. I love that. I will get to you folks in a minute. I'm going to hold space for you, Maria. I see you there, and I'm gonna hold some space for you. And I also see Bernadette out there. I see me and my shadow. I see Maria, of course. I see Bernadette out there and filling up the front row. Thank you guys for coming and spending your time with me on a Tuesday here at Holding Space on the Sacred Spiral Network. A shout out to Kelly Brickle, who is traveling, and I was actually producing the show right before mine from the back, so it was an interesting place to be, but now I'm here in the front and I'm going to hold some space and I'm excited. So let's get ready to hold space. If you've been here before, you know how I like to hold space. I'm going to pay homage. I'm going to give respect where respect is due to the wizard, Brian Lahr from the Sacred Spiral Network, who actually I produced a show with him before he came to the Sacred Spiral Network on called The Fool's Journey, and we went through his whole tarot deck card by card, and it was an amazing experience because he was experiencing the cards each week as we were going through them. Just amazing energy. I just feel so blessed for the people that I'm friends with and that I have experiences with here in the Sacred Spiral Network and in this realm of, I don't know what you call this, broadcast land, the ether. Anyway, I'm babbling. I tend to do that. Apologies. Sage, my co-host, is my singing bowl, who I love very much and helps me do the 3 breaths. The 3 breaths are this. All day long, we're breathing, right? We're living. Breathing helps us live. It's kind of the source for our life, but we don't even think about it. We just breathe as we do our thing. So here with the 3 breaths, we take a moment to be very intentional with our breath. We feel it coming into our lungs through our nose. We feel the air passing through our nose into our lungs, filling up our lungs. We feel it fill us up, and then we hold it for just a second up at the top, and then we release it. And as we release, we feel our shoulders sink a little bit. We feel our butt in the chair a little bit more, and we just kind of ground. And it's just 3 of those together, and it's amazing. So participate if you want. I'm going to do it because I love it. So here we go. Sage is going to help us off. Start off with some vibrating, and then just breathe in through your nose. Hold it up at the top for a second, and then just notice that the sound ducks out a little bit. Hopefully you guys are hearing Sage, how loud she is. Let's do another breath. In through the nose, up to the top, and then release the breath. Sink into your chair. Just feel yourself get a little more comfortable. One last one together. In through the nose, all the way up to the top. Oh, I can feel it filling me up. And then I'm going to release, sink into the chair. Feel it. I don't know how you guys are hearing Sage, how it's coming across. I watched some of the episodes. And like right now, like Sage is still ringing beautifully to me. I can feel it. It's amazing. And I think you guys probably can't, probably ducks out the sound already. I got to adjust my microphone for that. It's an amazing experience, the vibrations of the bowl. But anyway, thank you. Breathing is fundamental. I told you, you guys probably feel better already. I know I do. So before I get the show started, I just wanted to say hello. I see Fran out there. What's up? What a show this will be. This will be a show. And I see Maria. It's 3 a.m. here in Norway. Thank you for coming here from Norway. I appreciate that. I love when there's a international vibe to the show. I know there's some people in UK that listen. I know that it's bi-coastal here in America. I know Shannon's on the West Coast. I'm here on the East Coast. I see Arnie Layton's out there. What's up, Arnie? Good to see you. Thank you. Jennifer Rose, amazing. Good to see you as well. And Jennifer says, I can't wait to see the Queen of Angels, Shannon Ratay. She is the Queen of Angels, isn't she? So I just want to address Maria, because I saw Maria in the last show we were doing, and Maria was looking for a reading, which we're going to do some readings with Shannon later in the show. I am not a practicing medium. I am an intuitive human, and I'm an empath. So I certainly have a response to what you're talking about. And I feel like, there's no judgment here. It's all coming from love. This is a loving reflection, right, of what you're saying. My ex Philip tells me, Philippe, I'm going to say Philippe because it's spelled exotically, tells me he wants to hook up with my friend Andrea. Right there, the opening statement. I'm just going to say that, right? Is he truly wanting her? Is he attracted, or does he just want to make me jealous? Does it matter? I mean, what he's saying to you is making you feel a certain way. I think there could only be a certain intention behind words like that, right? I don't think Philippe is thinking very much about you at all in what he's saying. Unless he's trying to manipulate you. And again, this is not medical advice. This is not psychic advice. This is just me as an intuitive reading your words. He tells me he wants her. Is he attracted to her? I don't think it matters. He makes me feel very self-conscious. See, you're saying this all out loud. So I think that's what's important. I think you need to listen to what you're saying and feel through how that makes you feel. And is that what you want? Is that how you want to feel? I mean, I know I wouldn't. But again, I think you're asking questions, but you're giving yourself the answers here, and that's just my thought. Even though we're not together, he messages you. I think he's really trying to manipulate you, and I'm so sad. I want to heal from all this. So my advice, my thoughts, healing from this is moving on from it. Right? Remember the good times and whatever love you had, because love is amazing, but love doesn't always continue. Things change. Everything changes all the time. And just accept that. And the best healing you can do is to love yourself. And that's the reflection I'm hearing in your words, right? He makes me feel this way. He makes me feel that way. Well, you're allowing that. And because there's some love that you need to be doing for yourself. And that's really all I'm going to say. Some advice on how to heal. Shannon, we'll give you a reading, see what the angels have to say for you. I think that might also help. But I just feel like, again, take a deep breath, those 3 breaths, do that on your own and just kind of think into the situation. All right. That's what I've got for you. All love, Maria, for you. Definitely. I appreciate you coming here to the Sacred Spiral Network and just trusting us with your energy and just being here and feeling that. 9 years is a long time, and you need to be strong. And you know what? I'm just going to ask everybody here to just gather some strength in your hands. You guys know how it feels, right? To hold the ball of energy. Just gather some strength in your hands, and let's all send that to Maria Scorpio, who's got Scorpio in her name, which is a part of my heart. I'm a Libra and a Scorpio cusp, and I feel for you, Scorpios. We feel stuff. So anyway, I just wanted to give that to you and hold a little bit of space to you, Maria. So there you go. I see Jennifer McCormick out there as well. What is up? So I am going to welcome to Holding Space for the first time. I'm surprised. I really thought that we had, I felt connected to Shannon through, I had done the intro for her show, the graphics for it, and I guess just watch her show, right? So I hear her speak, her amazing, like, fairy voice. Like, she's just got this amazing, she doesn't sound like a human. She sounds like an angelic creature. You know what I mean? That's what she sounds like. So welcome to Holding Space, the angelic Shannon Ratay. What's up, Shannon? How you doing?
Hello. Thank you so much for having me, Michael. And yeah, what a wonderful welcome. I'm truly honored by that intro. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, it's been a lot of fun for me to kind of get to know indirectly, you know, the hosts through working on their intros. You know, and yours was pretty specific. A lot of fun to work with, kind of like the handmade style in digital, right? It was just like this. It was just a lot of fun, and it's very cool that there's meaning, right, behind a lot of the things. You know, Kelly was very specific with the different kinds of creatures and the different kinds of angels that were appearing, and so you know, it's good. I love having that piece in my portfolio. So thank you.
You did an incredible job with it, and I am a life coach. I focus on career, and my specialty is coaching creatives. And so I have a lot of creatives in my world, and universally, they were all so impressed by what you created. So yeah, thank you so
awesome
much.
to hear. Oh wow, that's even a little bit more significant to hear. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And Maria is saying Shannon is so wise, smart, and beautiful in all human and spiritual ways. I love Miss Shannon's energy. Kim Princess is here. Good to see people coming in. Brian Lar, the wizard himself. I was just talking about your whiz. Your ears must have been ringing. You must have heard sage ringing across. Now you're in Florida, so that's down from where I am. But anyway, welcome. So let's talk about that for a minute. You said you're a life coach. I was trying to do some digging, and you're kind of all over the place, right? And I love it, because I kind of feel that way too. I feel like I'm a jack of all trades. It was interesting. I found a Cornell softball team page, and I was like, is this the same Shannon? I think it might be. And then I found your life coaching page. But I was trying to find more of the metaphysical side of you, because I know the show that you're on, and also the Enchanted Realms show. Actually, that's really the one I'm thinking of. The Enchanted Realms show really kind of goes out there metaphysically, you know, in all directions. And your show is metaphysical in that it's very specific to guides, people's personal guides. And I guess that's also interesting about your life coaching business, right? Because is that like an overlap? Is that how you do your life coaching?
It's really interesting. It's actually the connection and the way that I got into the metaphysical world. So growing up, I did not know that I was intuitive. I did not feel a connection to any of these realms. And it was through my coaching practice where I would ask people questions, my coachees questions, my clients, and I would hear the answer before they would respond.
Okay.
Where I realized that my questions were being fed to me. And one of the things that I would set people up with in their search for a job, because most of my coaching is career coaching and helping people find jobs, specifically creatives, I would give them, and I'm like air quotes, right? Like an imaginary friend, an imaginary leader to work with. And they would pick their own imaginary leader. And as my abilities developed over time, suddenly their imaginary leaders started showing up in my room as I was falling asleep. And I realized that the imaginary leaders that they were connecting into weren't necessarily imaginary. A large chunk of them, what was happening is they were connecting into their guidance team and members of their guidance team.
Wow.
So it's actually the coaching that brought on all of the things that I was doing, all of the content that I am being public with now was a lot of what was happening underground through my coaching practice.
Holy moly.
Yeah, so that's how it started. And that's sort of the through line. And it's just more recently where you're not finding a whole lot, because it's relatively recently that I'm actually even going public with the fact that this is what's been happening, and this is what is possible.
That's exciting to be a part of it actually now, because I didn't realize that. And I'm glad I asked that question, because I think, there's an interesting feeling that I get when I am talking to people specifically about the fairy realms and the dragon realms, right? These kind of mystical realms that are more mystical than metaphysical, right? I think that would be the word I would use, right? And that's just my way of kind of framing it, right? I think everybody's got to kind of frame it themselves, but the truth is, I don't want to use the word struggle, right? I feel like there's a little bit of a resistance for me as a human being, right, to let go completely, right? However, as a spiritual seeker, my philosophy, I totally believe in infinite possibilities. I totally believe that anything that you have thought of, like a thought, is a thing, right? So if you thought of it, it exists. So as you were telling me the story, I was like, and you were saying, oh, they're not imaginary, they already exist. But I think, yes, they could be already existing in source. That's another level of the philosophy, right? That everything already exists anyway. But also maybe that is a manifestation of their own, right? Their thought of their guide created their guide and manifested their guide, right? I mean, I believe that's a possibility, right? Of how it could be, right? Because I believe it is. And I don't believe the origin really matters. And I almost, as I'm saying this out loud to you, I'm realizing that I believe that anything that is doesn't necessarily just have an origin, right? It could exist in lots of different ways. It could have came to be.
So true. So true. And that's what I think is so delightful about this whole aspect of existence, right? So as someone who didn't grow up believing, I didn't think that fairies were a real thing, right? Like I didn't ever believe in fairies until I started, reading people and seeing fairies pop up around them and saying like, oh gosh, I see fairies around you. And they'd be like, oh yeah, I see fairies. Like it was accurate. And so you're exactly right that, origin, what came first, all of these bigger questions, we don't truly know the answer. And yet that is just what adds to the magic, the delight, the just the whimsy of getting to experience and play in this world.
I love that. And so again, just responding to what you're saying and kind of trying to put myself in that place, suddenly things were appearing to you, kind of, you said, right? And whether that be you were visually seeing them or just experiencing them, right? Something you were experiencing it somehow. How did you identify? How did you know? Like, how do you know what's a fairy?
Well, the very first one I came across, right before I believed that they were a thing, my friend of the show, she's been on Messages from the Enchanted Realms, Karen Perry, sent me a text message and she said, "Can you figure out what's going on with my dog? My dog has been up the past 3 nights in a row and my dog has never behaved like this. Can you help me figure out what's going on?" And so when I tapped into the energy of her dog and what was happening, I kept hearing, "I'm a sprite, I'm a sprite, I'm a sprite," and immediately got this visual of a little sprite-like creature riding her dog like horseback, like a horse, horseback riding her dog, and the two of them frolicking around in the evening. And so I had a little chat with her sprite and was like, "You can't do this at night. You need to do this during the day." And the next day, Karen's like, "Hey, you fixed my dog. What's going on?"
Wow. Oh my God.
So, it's like, I don't know if I believe this either, but it worked. But it's been working, right? That process of trial and error, which is why it was underground for so long.
Right. Wow. Wow. So interesting. I don't know if I believed it either, but you did. Like somehow you just knew. Like I feel like that's what I'm kind of waiting for, right? Like just like I know that I couldn't let go completely. I know I can. But there's a part of me that's just like, nope, not gonna let you do it. Not gonna let you do it. You know what I mean?
Well, and that is what's so also, part of the inspiration behind my show, right? Behind Guided Life was so much of my stepping into believing and stepping into trusting my own abilities, my own relationships, my own connections more and more was that confirmation, right? So it was actually even Karen who was like, "Shannon, you need to start working on this more. You've helped me so much. You really need to step into this more." And because I've gotten that kind of confirmation, that's part of what I'm trying to make available to people through Guided Life, right? This vehicle to trust what they might think is their imagination and see what happens. And so in your case, yeah, no rush, no need to let go. But my sneaking suspicion is that over time, there's going to be some fun and play with just testing out what might be possible, and then you'll come to your own conclusion and your own decision on what's real and what's not.
Totally. And like I said, it's like these two different parts of me, right? Because there's a part of me that there's no question. That one part of me, there's no question, right? And then the other part of me, it's all question. So let me ask you a question. Earlier I was trying to say this, we didn't really get to do this, but first let me just address Bernadette out there saying, "Do you talk to mermaids?" I was a mermaid. I saw my mermaid self looking at my human self, and it was very powerful.
Absolutely. On our show Messages from the Enchanted Realms, Jennifer Rose tends to pull in a lot of the mermaid energy more strongly than I do, but absolutely as part of the Enchanted Realms coming through. And I will say, right, like to your point, Michael, I'm not always positive if, is it literally a mermaid? Is it actually a dragon? Like, do I know? No, but I do believe in the possibility that spirit has the ability, will work with us in order to be able to communicate with us, right? Like is able to show up in ways that make it easier for us to build the relationship. But absolutely, Bernadette, I see that mermaid in you.
Yeah, totally. So it's interesting because at one point today, before we even got on, I was kind of like, "Ooh, Shannon, what am I going to do? How am I going to run this?" And then again, the thing like, "Oh, is she a psychic? Is she this?" So again, I don't bill myself necessarily as like a psychic, a practicing psychic, right? But I do certainly understand my connection to source, my connection to the metaphysical, my belief system, the things that I know, the things that I feel. And I was going to kind of see if I could use this show almost as a personal session with you. Right?
Excellent. Oh, I would love that.
So having seen the introduction to the show and having seen me address Maria, what are your thoughts? Where did that come from? Because again, I believe that there's a crossover in spirituality with philosophy, psychology, self-love, all of these different energies. And I feel like those are the places that I was really responding from more than like a guide necessarily. But I also believe that those are kind of connected things. Those might be the same things. It's frequency, it's energy.
Yes, absolutely. And I think you said something important, right? That at the end of the day, it's all energy. And then we have these various ways and skills with the instrument of our system to be able to interpret that energy. So I will say that up front, that I do believe that at the core, that, that everything is energy and it's just a matter of observing and interpreting energy. Well, number one, to answer your questions, I will just say that I do see fairies flying all around you. So whether or not you want to believe it, the fairy energy is alive and kicking all around you. You are a friend of the fairies; they adore you, and what they're
Good to hear.
telling me is the way that it manifests and shows up most clearly right now is that clever sense of humor, that clever sly sense of humor, and the ability to flip ideas around. It's like I can see them doing somersaults around you as they acknowledge that aspect of you. So that's number one.
I love that.
Number two, in terms of energy, you have the way I interpret and what I see you doing is that number one, you have a really clear connection to the field of wisdom, right? So your ability to go straight to that field of wisdom and connect into just that higher level of knowledge and that higher field of wisdom. So simultaneously connecting into that field and that realm of just sort of like inner knowing in the field of wisdom. And then I also see your whole council of guides all around you. And my sneaking suspicion is that there is a lot of claircognizance, right? Just that inner knowing between that connection to the field of wisdom, but then that inner knowing, and that it's often the people who have the claircognizance, right? Just that automatic knowing. They're the ones that can have a little bit of a more difficult time of knowing that they're working with their guidance team because it feels like it's coming directly from inside them. But that I would suspect is your unique way of working with your guidance team. How does the claircognizance aspect of things resonate with you?
I think everything resonates. What you said really makes a lot of sense to me, right? At one point, I have a friend who is a channeler and speaks light language, and I didn't really have a lot of experience with guides. I did kind of know, I knew that I was finding it challenging to identify specific guides, right? To see a guide and maybe there was like expectations of how that was supposed to look, or whatever the blockage was. I knew that was part of the struggle. And this woman, Sarah Curley, she did kind of like spirit guide drawings and paintings. And I don't know if I have it close by. I do. This will work for you because I think you'll see a bunch of things in here.
Oh yes. Gorgeous.
Yeah. Yep. So I used to have a longer hair. So she told me that I was one of my own spirit guides. And there's a dragonfly, and I think there's an armadillo there, a turtle there. A bunch of different spirit animals.
Yes.
As well as myself. And I had never heard that before, right? That, you could be your own spirit guide. And then, of course, as I explored spirituality, the idea of your guide being a fractal version of yourself, a higher version of yourself, I was like, oh, well, these things are all starting to kind of make sense, right? So, I feel, like I said, I feel connected, right? I feel like I know where I am. I don't often say, oh my God, what's my path? What am I supposed to be doing? Right? I feel like I'm being shown just stay on the path, right? You're on the path, right? Don't wonder where the path is. Just be on it, right? Be the path. I don't know, how to explain that.
No, that's a really gorgeous way of explaining it, especially from, that. So, from that way of our guides communicating to us in different ways. And it's already happening, right? Like it's already happening. I happen to be primarily clairaudient. So I will actually hear voices in my, in my head. It's like a radio channel that I tune over into. So I was telling the story about Karen's dog, right? Like initially I heard I'm a sprite, and that guided my attention of where to look and what to look for. And so that claircognizance, I'm just checking in, that they're saying that you work really well with. That is right. Like that's what keeps you on the path. That's how you don't feel that need as much to be like, oh, what is my purpose? Why am I here? Because there's this inner sense of knowing and this inner sense of focus that you have, and that you're able to travel along. So just a second, let me see who I've got here, right? Because they're kind of laughing because I'm in terms of the whole team, the whole wide range of beings that you actually pull in and work with, right? So between seeing the extraterrestrials, I don't know what your connection is with that realm, but they're definitely showing up. They're definitely showing up behind you. I'm seeing guides. I'm seeing angels. The fairies let themselves be known from the very beginning. I've got, definitely got the animals too. So I'm trying to see who wants to step forward first. Okay, stepping forward first, I've got your primary guide, and your primary guide is stepping in with this huge mountain-like energy, right? Like this huge, just massive energy. He's coming in as male, and he's not necessarily coming in as like a figure, but he's more just coming in as that big, solid presence. And part of the reason he's coming in so large is just that acknowledgement of how large and powerful you are. A lot of times those main guides, they are a little bit more of the silent partner in the back, that they're not as active as some of the other guides because they're coming in and just overseeing that education, all the things that we're here to learn in the school of life. And he's just coming in, I'll say, with a big sense of pride because of, we're talking about being the school of life and just the role of a teacher that you take on. So he's acknowledging how large and huge you are, as well as this role of teacher and educator. And what he really loves about the way you do it, right? The way that you co-create with him. Wow. So you just don't teach by teaching, but the way you live your life, the way that you show up, that you're a very powerful influence on those around you by the way that you live your life. And that's one of your avenues for teaching others.
Wow. I love that. And it resonates. I don't think I capitalized. No, that's not the right word. I don't think I demonstrate those strengths as much as I should, because I feel like I can remember being younger and my last name is Zin, right? And somebody once called me Zen Master Zin and commented how I just make them feel so calm, and I just kind of always kind of had that, right? That feeling. I don't know if is my camera like blurring in and out. I can't tell if it's my glasses or my camera. But anyway, let me just continue my thought. And I am definitely not a very like egotistical person. I don't like need to be the center of attention. I never ever expected to be the host of a show. I produce shows for people.
You and me both.
Yeah, that's how I ended up here. And I mean, I gotta say, I love it. I love the interaction. I was saying, like, I don't feel the need to go to a psychic and say, oh, what is my future? What's going to happen with my love life or my job? But I love being around psychics, giving readings to people because I feel the energy exchange. I feel, especially when it's like a good healing, when it is a grief thing, you know what I mean? It's not always, right? Sometimes there's what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you know, things that were not solved in life that come up, you know what I mean, in a weird way, and the human is still kind of dealing with it, and you know, it's interesting, but I just love being around that energy, you know, because I guess because I'm sensitive to it, you know. So
Yes. Well, and I'll say, right, like when we have an aligned, you know, sort of our systems are aligned, right? When we can create those cohesive fields energetically, it can be really calming on everyone around us. You think about going to nature, maybe it's the ocean or the mountains or the forest. We sometimes use those aligned, coherent fields to regulate our systems. And that can have, you know, the forest isn't doing anything except being itself, and that can
right.
regulate our system. So your capacity to regulate other people's systems by that calmness, right? And the choices that you make to keep your system calm and regulated. You just demonstrated that with the gorgeous reading you did with an advice you gave to Maria, right? Like you gave that from that place of, oh gosh, how do I maintain that calm? How would I recommend you maintain that calm?
Right.
It's a very powerful combination.
Wow. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's just kind of like validation. And again, what's cool is like, I'm not seeking to be validated, right? It's just like you say something and I'm like, oh, you know what? It's nice to feel that, you know what I mean? It's definitely, I'm usually, like I said, I'm not an ego guy, but it's nice to be confident and know, like, I know my value, you know what I mean? And if I meet someone who doesn't feel that, then no worries, right? Like you don't have to feel my value. I'll go find the people who feel my value and I'll hang out with them, and you can go find someone who you find the value in, you know what I mean? And it's all good. So I appreciate it. And I just want to acknowledge Vivian, who I love. Vivian, aloha. Both Shannon and Michael attract beautiful energy from the environment. Thank you so much for your presence in our lives. And I'm just going to say vice versa, right? Like, you know, coming here and holding space, like I started to say at the beginning of the show now, and I say it because I feel it. I love holding space for you guys. I love holding space for Shannon or whoever my guest is. I love holding space for myself. I love just creating this moment where that's what it's all about, is just holding that space and you know away from all of the other space that I have to deal with, you know, during the day, and everybody and all of you guys have to deal with during the day. You guys have all come here to this space to be here in this moment. So kudos to all of you, and namaste and all of those cool words.
Yeah. Well, aloha, Vivian. It's always so good to see you. And if you're open to it, Michael, I've also got one of your birth angels coming in and doing a little wave as
I'm
well.
wide open. Yeah, give it to me.
Yeah, coming right in with this big bright light of energy, right? Like they're really excited because normally, you know, they'll hang back, but it's like one right after another. They're popping forward to say hello. And this birth angel's been with you since before you took your first breath, and will be with you to the very end. It helps make sure that you don't exit the planet before your time, right? Like no oopsie daisies, that you stick around.
I think I've met him a couple of times.
I was going to say, it was just about to say that it was just sort of giving me like he's experienced my work. He knows what he's talking about. And what I'm feeling from him coming in right now is the expression of gratitude, that there are certain humans that, because when they are so connected to their angels, that they take on that role of earth angel, that they take on that role of heeding the call. And it might not seem like that big of a deal always, right? But like that person who happens to be in the right place, who happens to help the person whose car is broken down, or, you know, is the person that says, oh yeah, I've got you, right? Like those little interactions and saying yes to the call. And it might not be that big of a deal in your day, but it ends up being the thing that changes somebody else's life for the better and has a big impact on their life. And they're acknowledging that close connection in you, and that part of that expression is this show, right? That this was you listening to your guidance team and saying yes to doing this show, and the benefits that it brings to so many people, that it's part of your role of an earth angel and reflects your close connection to the angels.
Wow. Shannon, I can't even tell you like how right on you are with that. Thinking back on my life, and I always used to say my superpower was that, right? Like either introducing two people together, right? And then all of a sudden finding out a week later that they're working on something amazing, just making these connections with people, or even in relationships, right? I can remember, having a bad breakup with a girl, so bad that she couldn't stay in the state and moved across the country, and then ends up like having the career of her life, right? Like meeting the people she's like, just making people's lives better, even though I didn't know it at the time, right? Like that there was a pivotal role that I played in that moment. And I think that's exactly what you just described. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty cool. That
whether you believe it or not, Michael, you're working in close communication with your entire guidance.
I know, and I do believe it, and they know it, I feel like they're the ones that are teasing me, like, just freaking show up already, right? Like, just like, like in a way that I want you to show up, not in.
Here's the thing, you're already doing it. You actually don't have to change anything, right? Because it's already happening, right? You're already breaking up with people, and that being the best thing that ever happened to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally amazing. Yeah. And I do want to acknowledge there's some really, really great stuff going on in the comments. I cannot tell you guys how much I love how much attention you're paying to the situation and how much energy you're giving. I can't even go back and give you guys that attention, and you too, Shannon, like, thank you. I didn't really know what to expect, but I just kind of did feel intuitively like, give yourself a break. Like, ask, like, find out what's up with you, what I mean? And even if it's just an opportunity to let my guides come take a step forward, right, and introduce themselves to the world or whatever, it feels really good to hear the things you're saying. I also want to acknowledge Kay Weezy, who is such an amazing fan of the Sacred Spiral Network. He's thanking you for the music advice you gave him on Saturday. And I've given him advice as well. He keeps asking, what's going to happen with my music? And I'm like, you're going to make your music happen. Just make it happen. Stop asking and just do it. Just make it happen. You know what I mean? And again, that's kind of my style, I guess, right? Of responding to someone. It's like, stop asking the questions, be the question, like do the question.
That's right. Well, are you open to another one? I got someone else here stepping forward for you.
If they're stepping forward, what's up, Nancy? Yeah, absolutely.
Hi, Nancy. Yeah, I know you. I heard you say that you were cuspy Scorpio, but I will just say there's a nice little scorpion that has just crawled up on your shoulder.
Wow.
So even separate from that Scorpio energy, that one of your animals showing up is the scorpion.
Wow.
And so, yeah.
That's cool.
So and what's really great about scorpions, right? Like, you just think of some of that mysterious energy. And I admit, I don't even know a whole lot about some of the larger representation of scorpions. But what it's showing me is it's actually showing me, like the bite, right? Like the bite, and that bite, that sword that cuts through the nonsense in a different kind of way, right? Like that arrow of truth that comes through, it catches people's attention. And so it's acknowledging, your bite, right? That, like, when you have that information, when you cut through, just the spiritual divine nature of when you choose to give information, to share that bite, that it is, they're like, no, for the greater good, right? Like, I'm making sure that nuance. So I don't know how that sits with you, but even within that calmness, to know that, that bite is part of your power and that connection to the scorpion energy.
Cool. No, I love it. I'm not really sure how to connect it necessarily metaphorically. I do know that in my life, and in my experience, in my work experience, right, as an artist, as a visual producer, um, I have been fortunate in my life to have had interesting opportunities, right? So one of the interesting storylines in my life is this weird connection I have with the Snyder family. Now, the Snyder family that I'm talking about is Dee Snyder, who is the lead singer of Twisted Sister. um, I don't know if you can picture the guy with the big
Mhm.
blonde hair. His family. So his sons, Cody and Jesse and Shane, I have individually worked with them on different projects, like totally independent, like not related to one another, right? It's just like happened. And they're an amazing, amazing family. They have an incredible energy. Meeting the sons, who you would think might have an attitude, where all three of them are super humble, super, super talented. And actually doing a show for Jesse, one of the sons, is how I ended up. He asked me to co-host, so I was a co-host originally, and ended up just kind of, he moved back to the West Coast and said, yeah, take it over. So I just became the host of the live stream of consciousness. But one of the things, and this is just a response on what you said, the bite, right? The scorpion bite. One of the projects I got to work on was a couple of years ago, probably 2 years ago. Dee Snyder put out a solo album, and I got to design the LED screens that were behind his debut concert. Like all of the graphics, the fire, and the album cover are like, he has this heart on the album cover that's in chains, and it's like pulsing. I animated it, and it was just such an amazing opportunity. And then to be at the show and see it, right? Like to just watch the concert happening in front of it. Like, to me, I felt like that was a moment. That was like a bite. That was like,
Yeah.
that's what I thought of when you said that.
Well, and I will say that I'm getting the message that there's a situation in your life that could use a little bit of bite, right? Like that there might be, like an arrow of truth that needs to be shared, a bite of truth that needs to be shared with someone around a situation, and just for you to know that is,
Mm.
yeah, some divine connection to the divine, connection to spirit, and sharing that information, to giving that bite, or that arrow of information that sometimes we can think as, I'm going to use this as a teaching opportunity, right? But like that is spiritual people, that, sharing the harsh truth, that arrow of truth, putting in a firm boundary, that can not be spiritual, that we're supposed to be all kind and nice, and,
Mhm.
rainbows and unicorns all the time. But
Mhm.
in this
Mhm.
particular
Mhm.
case, that bite of truth. And so that this bite of truth is your part of your connection to spirit.
Mm. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. I'm gonna process that one.
All right.
I think that one's personal, but I'm gonna process it. Um, awesome. Awesome. Amazing. Wow. I- I would love to know much more and keep going with myself. Um, and perhaps we can, after the show, and consider this a good connection. I really kind of, I think part of why I'm doing the show is to connect with people that may have information for me. You know what I mean? Like, whether it's a piece of information or a collaborative, working with them for a while, back and forth, or whatever it might be. So let's table me, for a little bit, because I know the Sacred Spiral Network. I know people love to get readings, and I know just by watching you do your work, I know how much you love to give readings.
Indeed.
And so I want to kind of hold a little space for you to do that. I know there's two particular ones I would love for you to address. and then maybe see what we can do after that. And one is Kay Weezy, of course, who was again at the last show, didn't get a chance to get a reading because his neighbor passed last Thursday. So I think he wants to kind of see what she's got to say to him, as she's still hanging around and leaving.
Yes, very good. Oh, Kay Weezy, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Just loss in general, right? Like loss in general can be, yeah, oftentimes we know that, right? Like our loved ones, our neighbors, our community, they're never truly gone. But just that process of noticing that transition and not finding them in the same place that we're used to finding them, that process of finding them in a different place, that there can just be, grief in that change. So, so let me take a moment and see if I'm definitely, number one, I'm hearing her come in. So I'm hearing a female voice, and that she's definitely coming in and saying, yes, I'm here. I'm here in spirit. And what she's actually feeling right now is that she's actually delighting in being part of the everything. I'm getting her sense of awe, right? Like she's just like, this is so cool. There's almost a part of her that's like, hey, if I knew it was going to be this amazing and this cool,
I would have done it sooner.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Yes. So I am getting this sense that right now she is delighting in being part of the everything, right? Like where she's like, oh, I can zip into the body of a bird and fly around like a bird, right? Like I can be the clouds. I can be the ocean, right? So she's having this really delightful time, just experiencing herself as spirit and as part of the everything. So what she's saying is, absolutely, I'm around you. I'm around everything right now. And so, that she's definitely around you. And what she's telling me to tell you is to pay attention to your dreams, right? To pay attention to your dreams, that she's having a really good time zipping in and out and giving messages and just saying goodbye to loved ones through dreams. Let me see if I've got anything else in particular. She's just in pure glee and delight right now. Which is a lot of just
maybe.
So
it looks like maybe she's got a message for her kids.
Yeah.
Or even what you just said. I feel like if he was able to express that to his kids, right? Like your mom is,
Yeah, that she is. It's cliche in a better place, but this idea of what the message that was coming through as I was seeing your comment, Kiwizi, is that everything has happened. Everything that has happened, everything has happened as it should. And it actually goes back to that initial statement that actually is clear that for them just to take the time grieving and being sad, and as they get through that grieving process, that they're going to be able to notice her in the everything. And I'm seeing specifically the butterflies, right? That they're going to be able to see her in the butterflies, that, if possible, not to mourn her passing, in that, it's all happened as it should. That, it's funny because I'm just getting all of this woohoo, just really excited energy. So let me see if I can tap in just.
I love the way you just connected what you said she was feeling, loving being a part of the everything, and then that her kids would experience her as that. Like,
yes.
just know that, you'll experience her as part of the everything, not even just the butterflies, like the everything.
The everything. And as they turn their attention to other places and stop looking for her where they used to find her, that they will find her everything. Yeah. And you know what, KBZ, along the same line, no, she doesn't miss you because she never left. She's still with you. Right. Like, so I'm going to just tell you that is not the state that
you miss her, and she's right there. And she's right there.
Got it. that that is not the state that she's in. Yeah, it's sort of a unique way to come in. So I hope this helps Kay Weezy.
I love
She's not
that.
giving me a whole lot of specifics because she's just in
she's exploring. Yeah. Wow.
Exactly.
That's a great. I love that. That came through amazing. I think that was just really beautiful. The second one, I did want to kind of see what your thoughts were about, what the angels might have to say for Maria.
For Maria, yes. Maria, what I've got for you is I am seeing your whole team of angels coming in, Maria. And so for you to know that you are not alone, right? That you're actually surrounded by the whole team of angels. And what they would love for you to know is that if you could just take your attention off of Philip and put it on yourself, right? It's that idea that you are filling up all of your space. It's almost like the old adage that, if you've got the chair next to you and you keep filling it up energetically with Philip by putting all of your energy and attention on him. And if you could take your attention off of him and just to sit with the emptiness for the moment, that next person would slide right in and fill up that chair. I told you on Saturday, you kind of slid it right in. I see someone else coming in, and that from that someone else coming in, that there's going to be a lot of healing. I see 3 children. They might not all be biologically yours. I see 3 children. I see Philip coming back around, but you're not necessarily wanting him because you realize how much better everyone else is. But step one is to take your attention and focus off of him and put it onto other things, and know that your angelic team is all around you and working with you. In fact, your angelic team is showing up with a whole bunch, like they're showing up as I'm seeing one in particular that's showing up as your personal matchmaker. So to know that you've got an angel, you've got a project manager angel, one that's here for this transition, who wants to work with you directly to set you up with other people who are going to treat you a lot better than Philip. But that internal, you got to let him go and put your attention somewhere else to let him in.
Yep, totally. Agreed. I mean, it's so, and again, like for me, like whether it's psychic or angel, it's just so clear and loud, right? Like it's just so obvious, like what you just said, like you got to make the space for the right person to come in, and Philip's energy is just holding that space. I'm not even going to bring up the comment, about what she's saying. He makes me so sad, because that's the energy that we need to get rid of, right? Get rid of that energy.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So I'm not even going to bring it up. I'm getting rid of that energy. It's not welcome here on this show, right? Maria, you are so welcome here, and we love you, and we want you to love yourself. So there
Maria,
you go.
We all want to be invited to your wedding, right? When you meet this next person, like we all want to come to your wedding. Yeah. It's going to be a bash.
Believe it and allow it. Now, I know it's just about an hour, but I did see, and it totally makes me smile. I know I saw Jennifer Rose. I saw Nancy Martella. All of the psychics are like open. They're all open for a reading. So I don't know if you're feeling any of them specifically. I think Vivian was there. I'm just trying to look who said open. I know I saw Nancy said open. And I don't know if you're feeling anybody. Kim Princess is open. Ms. Rose is open. Yeah. Everybody's open.
Everybody's open. All right.
For a reading from you, Shannon. Everybody's looking forward to it.
Coming in hot. Well, first one that's coming in really strongly is I've got a nursemaid angel coming in for Vivian. And so Vivian, you've got your own personal angel, and she's showing up sort of that old school nurse, right? Like dressed in white, sort of that very classic, old school nurse that you might imagine from, like, I don't know if it's like 1950s, 1960s. And so for you to know that she's working with you directly And she says absolutely that you're going to be regaining your energy. And what this is that this is a really good opportunity right now, we're going to use the positive form of this word, right? To be selfish, right? Like she really wants you to be selfish. You're talking already about being more involved in the community, but that step one is to really be involved with your own healing and your own self, and to get comfortable absorbing all the care, all the healing, all that energy and attention that you're putting on yourself. And as I'm saying that, I'm seeing like the cup being filled up. And so absolutely, you're going to be more involved in the community. And what I'm hearing is that some of the lessons, some of what you're going to be learning through your own healing, there might be a slight shift in direction in how you're involved in the community, that it might affect where you're putting your time and your attention when you're back and firing on all cylinders, that this might actually inspire a shift in terms of how you're engaging with them. But nope, to continue to ask your angel for help. And if for some reason that you are not seeing, results, to break that ask down even into a smaller ask, right? As opposed to, hey, can you heal me? But like, hey, what's the thing my system needs for breakfast? Or what do I need today to really aid and support my healing today? So, yep, absolutely, Vivian, you're on the path. You're gonna be back in fighting form. Yeah.
I love that. And I got to say, I'm way overdue for a trip to Hawaii. So, and me and Janice have been thinking about maybe getting a retreat space and doing something like that. So who knows, the infinite possibilities, right? I'm just talking to the universe, like all of these things, just trying to, put the ideas out there.
You would make a great officiant for Maria's wedding. I'm just saying.
There you go. I'll put that out there. I'm down. I'm totally down for it.
We're all rooting for you, Maria, right? Like, yeah, for your big wedding in Hawaii.
Totally.
All right, we got time for another one?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, because Nancy, are you still here? If you are still here, let me know, Nancy, because I got someone who's trying
come on down, Nancy.
Get your attention. No worries if not. Vivian's already. She's like, yep.
Yeah. She wants a sacred spiral retreat.
That is great. Yes, maybe Vivian, maybe we're the community you're going to be getting more involved with hosting all of us.
I love it.
Excellent, Nancy. Oh gosh. Nancy, I have an angel that is coming in strong for you as well. I am seeing that big old bright light behind you. Let's see she's coming in as female, and I'm seeing the color pink. So I'm seeing her coming in really strongly in the color pink. I am seeing lots of hearts all around her. Let me see if I can figure out what's going on with these hearts. Let's see what she's got. Well, the funny thing is she's coming in and she's saying, "Hi, love," and I love you so much, love. Got it. She's coming in to say that it's time, that there is room for even more expansion. I'm hearing her say, right? Like this is a time of even more expansion and growth. And as she's saying that, I'm hearing the excitement. That the excitement, the joy, that this is not the painful kind of, AFCO. This is not one of those painful expansion growths, that this is expansion, growth, and delight. I'm hearing this is career. I am hearing this is all of the spiritual work that you're doing. That there is opportunity to be doing this on a bigger and broader stage, and they want you to continue doing that. I'm actually seeing you on a stage as you're doing that. Let me see if I can get some more specifics for you, Nancy. What is she showing me here? I'm not sure if there's more opportunity to be doing in-person events, Nancy, but that's actually what I'm seeing you doing, right? Is in-person events on the circuit, getting out there, being front and center, and that, and and that there might be a particular niche that you have been contemplating, right? Like a particular thing that you're especially interested in. And so they are absolutely having you lean into that niche. Like, I don't know if you would ever consider, in person in August, excellent. And I don't know if you would ever consider, right, like giving people readings and like taking them shopping, or helping people do like image consultants,
Ooh.
redoing their image, like do
Ooh.
some sort of like intuitive
Yeah.
consultation. But just to say that there could be something around that as well, combining some of your loves.
Intuitive
So anyway,
fashion consult. I love it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Right. That
Wow.
that there might be some
Yeah.
way to, combine this that might even bring a little bit more fun and play. But yep, the expansion is coming, Nancy.
I love it. Oh, what a great message. Amazing. I know you just made me think of, I know a photographer, her name's Carolina Luna, who is a very spiritual woman. She runs a drum circle. She has a project called Goddesshood, where she's a photographer. So she's doing images of women, kind of in embracing their divine feminine, and doing all like in the water, and like all sorts of really cool themes. And again, I felt like the connection between, it's like the spiritual, she offers a spiritual branding experience with the photography.
Ooh.
And so I feel like that's kind of similar with Nancy and her styling.
Yes.
She's a spiritual stylist.
Yes. Yes.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that.
And
Awesome.
Nancy, I don't think I hit it exactly, but like, that the idea that there's some sort of niche, some sort of thing that
Create it.
yeah,
Make your own reality. Yeah, I love it.
you got it.
I love it. I
Spot
love
on.
it. And Arnie is saying Shannon is fairylicious. Shine, shine, shine. So I love that your readings for other people, like Arnie didn't get a reading and he's feeling energized by your readings, which is amazing. I just love that. That's the spirit of the Sacred Spiral Network, the spirit of the guided life, the spirit of the enchanted realms. I think that's just the spirit in general, and I love it. Awesome. Wow. Well, I can't tell you how much fun this has been. I'm excited that we did finally get to do this. I do want to speak to you, so hang on after the credits, because I do want to talk to you about maybe just discussing this further, maybe having another session or something like that, because that was really amazing. And yeah, I think I forget who I've got next week. I know Kelly has been really busy. She did set up somebody for next week because she's traveling. I apologize to whoever that is, because I forget offhand and I just don't want to scramble and look for it. But I do promise on Tuesdays and Thursdays I do live stream of consciousness. It's always a good time. Holding space. You just experienced it. If you were here and you had a good time, come back. Those are the days that I'm around. Those are the days that I hold space and do this and create reality and magic. Jennifer, thank you for the compliment. And Arnie, good night. Beautiful Jennifer Rose, thank you. Wonderful. Listen, this wouldn't be any of that stuff that you guys are saying without you guys, right? And Shannon as well, you, and just the intention to be here and to be that, right? We all had the intention to just do exactly what you guys are saying. So thank you. I'm gonna stop babbling. I'm gonna run the credits. Peace, guys. We'll see you on Thursday, and I'll see you next Tuesday as well. And there's balloons from the piece.